Hi guys, today I'm going to go over how to find the mean, median, mode, and range of a data set. On the first page, I'm going to go over a video study guide, and I'd just like you to follow along. Then I'd like you to go to page 2, where you're going to complete some practice problems on your own. And after you complete the practice problems, please go to page 3, where there will be an answer key. All right, so let's go ahead to page 1. So this says that the table below lists every student's age in neighborhood A and neighborhood B. So let's take a look at these two neighborhoods. So here's neighborhood A. They have kids that are 9, 15, 15, 11, and 15. And here's neighborhood B. They have students that are 13, 14, 14, 15, 13, and 9. Now these are just a list of numbers to me that don't really have any meaning. But what if they asked me about how old the students are in each neighborhood? Or what if they asked me to compare the neighborhoods? Which neighborhood has the oldest students? Now, to do this, you could find a measure of central tendency. And there are 3 ways to find a measure of central tendency: the mean, median, and mode. So first, let's start with the mean. And this might seem really familiar to you because you have learned how to do this before. To find the mean, you're going to add the numbers together, and then you're going to divide by how many numbers were given. So for example, in neighborhood A, the numbers are 9, 15, 15, 11, and 15. You have to add those numbers together and divide by 5 because there are 5 numbers there. When you add the numbers at the numerator together, you get 65. So you're really doing 65 divided by 5, and 65 divided by 5 is 13. For neighborhood B, here are the numbers you're going to add together, and since there are 6 numbers, you're going to divide by 6. If you add the numbers in the numerator together, you get 78. So you're really doing 78 divided by 6, which is also 13. So now I can give an answer to those questions above. The questions above stated about how old are the students in each neighborhood. Now, if I look at the mean, I could say that in neighborhood A, the students are about 13 years old. And in neighborhood B, the students are about 13 years old. The other question says, which neighborhood has the oldest students? Well, if I'm looking at the mean, I would say, well, the neighborhood A students are about the same age as the neighborhood B students. All right, now the next one we're going to find is the median. And when you hear the word median, I want you guys to think about the middle of something. What you have to do is you have to arrange the numbers from least to greatest and find the number in the middle. If there are 2 numbers in the middle, you find their mean. So here's what we mean. See these numbers up here for neighborhood A, 9, 15, 15, 11, and 15. I don't want to find the number in the middle like this. I want to put them in order first. And if I put them in order, it's 9, 11, 15, 15, 15. And then I want to find the one in the middle. And usually how I do this is I just cross off the ones on either side until I find the one in the middle. And here the median is 15. All right, let's do the same thing for neighborhood B. Again, I don't want to start crossing these numbers off in the table to find the one in the middle. I want to put the numbers in order first from least to greatest. So 9, 13, 13, 14, 14, 15. And then I want to cross off the numbers on either side until I reach the number in the middle. Now, since there were an even number of numbers here, there's 2 numbers in the middle. So if there's 2 numbers in the middle, you have to find their mean. So you're going to have to do 13 plus 14 and then divide that by 2, which is 27 divided by 2, which is 13.5. All right. Now, if I'm asked those same questions about how old are the kids in neighborhood A, well, if I'm looking at the median, I'd say they're 15 years old. What about neighborhood B? I'd say they're about 13.5 years old. If I'm looking at the median, which neighborhood has older students? I would say neighborhood A because they have a higher median. Now, lastly, we're going to find the mode. To find the mode, you're just going to have to identify the number that repeats itself the most often. So that's the key word there. Which number repeats itself the most often? That doesn't want to work for me. There we go. Nice. Okay. Let's look at neighborhood A. In neighborhood A, which number repeats itself the most often? So we have 15, 15, and 15. All right, definitely 15 repeats itself the most. So that's the mode. Now neighborhood B, which one repeats itself the most often? Let's take a look. So there's two 13s and there's two 14s, one 15, one 9. So it looks like 13 and 14 repeat themselves the most. Now they repeat themselves the same amount of times. So in this case, there's two modes. The modes are 13 and 14. They repeated themselves the same amount of times, and they repeated themselves more than the other numbers available. And if there's two modes, we call the data bimodal. Okay, now looking at neighborhood C, which is a neighborhood we haven't brought up yet, if they have students that are 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13, what do you think the mode is? Since none of the numbers repeat themselves, we would say there's no mode. Now neighborhood D has students that are 10, 11, 10, and 11. What is the mode? Now, there's two 10s and there's two 11s. There's no number that shows up the most. So in this case, we would say there's no mode because there's no number that shows up the most. Now, one other thing you might be asked to find in statistics is the range. When they ask you for the range, all they want you to do is to take the biggest number and subtract the smallest number. So let's take a look. In both of these data sets, actually, the biggest number is 15. And in both of these data sets, the smallest number is 9. I know you can't really see it, but the data set, the smallest one is 9. So for both of these, and this doesn't always work out this way, but for both of these, the range is 15 minus 9. The biggest number minus the smallest number. And I would get 6. All right, what we would like you to do now is to go to page 2 and try the practice problems on your own, and then go to page 3 and look at the answer key. Just remember that the mean, you're going to add them all together and divide by however many numbers there are. The median, you're going to put them in order and find the number in the middle. The mode, you're going to find the number that repeats itself the most. And the range, you're going to take the biggest number and subtract the smallest number.